Thank you for those wonderful words from the public orator, which described my journey. Chancellor of this wonderful university, Justice Mpati, Chairperson of Council and other members of Council, Vice Chancellor, Professor Mabizela, Deputies Vice Chancellor, members of the Senate, Mrs. Zondo, who is present here with us, members of the academic staff, President of the SRC and other members of the SRC present, today's graduates and their parents and family members who are present here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is for me a great honor and privilege to be here and to be part of this graduation ceremony this afternoon. It is my first time to be at this university, and I'm happy that my first visit happens on a day of joy and celebration. I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate today's graduates for their hard work, which culminates in their obtaining their degrees today. I also congratulate their parents, family members, or guardians who are here today to support them and to share in their joy as they receive their degrees. These are people who have walked with them on their journeys for a long time and who have been with them through hard times and good times. And it must be a great day for them to be together today as the graduates receive their degrees. All the hard work over the years has paid off, and they must enjoy this day to the fullest. Excuse me. I wish you graduates all of the best as you continue with your further studies or as you enter the world of work, as the case may be. Thanks and appreciation are also due to their professors and lecturers who helped them to reach this historic milestone in their lives. I need to time myself. I have only 15 minutes, which might be 10 minutes now. As for me, I feel very honored that this university has decided to confer upon me the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. I consider it a special honor and accept it with a sense of humility. I'm deeply grateful And from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you to those who nominated me for this honor. I deeply appreciate their initiative. I also wish to express my gratitude and appreciation to the Senate and Council of this university for voting in favor of conferring this degree upon me. Thank you too to my wife, Umamthembu, who is here with me to witness this special occasion, for her love and support to me all these years. Because she has played and continues to play a very important role in whatever success I achieve. I thank my children too, who could not be here, for their support and understanding over the years when I could not spend as much time with them as I would have liked and as they would have liked. But I think I must also take this opportunity on this day to once again acknowledge the role played by other people in my life along the way. Mr. Bucks, who is now late, unfortunately, is the man who helped me when I needed to go to university and ensured that every month my family would have enough groceries to go on. Unfortunately, he passed on during the period of COVID. But also, I think I must take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Victoria Mklenge, the late, who gave me articles of clerkship at a time when I found it very difficult to get articles, because she showed a lot of confidence in me at that young age, and as I was entering the profession, and gave me the responsibility of starting a labor law department in her firm, even though I was doing articles. And that act on her part of showing me such confidence played a very important role in my later professional life, because she trusted me and had confidence in me when really she had no grounds to have such confidence in an article clerk. But I must also thank my own mother, who is late now, who emphasized the need and importance of education and sacrificed a lot to make sure that I went to school. Had she not taken out all her savings to make sure that I went to boarding school, I would not have met the principal of the boarding school, who enabled me to obtain bursaries that helped me to continue throughout boarding school and beyond. So on this occasion, I reflect on the role that my mother played as well, and remain grateful to her. When the Vice Chancellor, Prof. Mabizela, called me to break the news that this university was offering to confer this degree on me, the news came as a complete surprise to me, because it was not something that was on my mind, and nobody had even whispered to me that there was such a possibility. But because of the place that is occupied by this university because of its reputation, because of the respect it commands internationally. I did not take long to accept. I accepted immediately. I've been asked to say a few remarks and to take 15 minutes, and I think it's 10 minutes or less that is left now, and I want to use that time. To talk about the significance of the independence of the judiciary. Obviously, because of time constraints, one cannot engage in academic analysis of the Constitution, of any articles or works to deal with this subject. But I want to deal with it from the context of the role that is played by the judiciary in our constitutional democracy. The dark history of apartheid and the experiences of many people who were at the receiving end of apartheid naturally drove many political organizations who were part of the multi-party negotiations that led to our constitutional democracy to agree that one of the principles on which our constitution would be based would be an appropriately qualified, independent, and impartial judiciary. That was Constitutional Principle 7. Seeking to ensure that South Africa would have an independent judiciary was aimed at ensuring not only that judges would decide cases fairly and impartially, but also that the judiciary would be able to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution and decide cases without fear, favor, or prejudice. Very often, people ask me the question, given the events of recent years against the judiciary, how can we be sure that the judiciary in South Africa is going to be strong enough to withstand all the pressures and the challenges that we can see lie ahead for our constitutional democracy? My answer to that question is always this. I believe from the bottom of my heart that the judiciary of South Africa is strong enough to withstand whatever pressures may be placed upon it to decide cases other than in accordance with the oath of office that judges take when they get appointed. And I say to them, if one looks at the recent history, the past few years in our constitutional democracy, one will see that the judiciary of South Africa has, even under extreme pressures, withstood its ground and decided cases the way they should be decided. Part of the strength of the judiciary would be the personal courage of each judge. But apart from the personal courage of each judge, obviously, and the integrity of each judge, there are the constitutional protections that are there which assist with the independence of the judiciary. I'm not going to talk today about the institutional independence of the judiciary. I'm going to talk only about the personal independence of the judiciary. And that is the ability of judges to decide cases in accordance with their oath of office, no matter what. I believe that if you have regard to cases such as the treatment action campaign, when you have regard to cases such as the Nkandla judgment, when you have regard to cases recently involving the State Capture Commission, you are bound to say the record of this judiciary is a record on which South Africans can rely to say the judiciary will play its role. And when one has regard to the constitutional protections which enable judges to exercise personal independence, one needs to look at three phases of the judiciary life, of a judge's life: the appointment process, during tenure as a judge, and removal. The appointment process of judges in South Africa is very transparent in order to make sure that whoever is appointed during broad daylight, and other people, the public, can assess the abilities of that candidate. Everyone can comment and indicate if a particular candidate is not good enough. But apart from that, once you are appointed as a judge, the Constitution says your salary and benefits cannot be reduced. Because if they could be reduced, obviously, whoever has the power to reduce them could pose a threat, because they could threaten to reduce your salaries. But apart from that, the Constitution also ensures that when it comes to matters of discipline for judges, there is a structure which is composed of judges which deals with disciplinary matters against judges, the Judicial Conduct Committee. And when you look at that structure, you will see that even against other judges, judges of that committee give judgments in disciplinary matters without fear or favor or prejudice. There is no saying, because this is a judge, we are going to apply a different standard than we should apply. Indeed, judges can be harsh against each other. You will recall that in 2011, in the matter of Justice Alliance, the judges of the Constitutional Court had to deal with a matter involving the then Chief Justice Ngcobo, about the extension of his term, and they decided the matter against him. I myself have been criticized by justices of the Constitutional Court as chairperson of the commission. So the commitment of judges to deciding cases without fear of favor or prejudice is there for all to see. And our Constitution, when it comes to the removal of judges, makes sure that it's not an easy thing to remove a judge. At a substantive level, you can only remove a judge from his position or her position if he is guilty of gross misconduct or gross incompetence, or he is incapacitated. It's not enough to say he is guilty of misconduct. It must be gross misconduct. It's not enough to say he's not competent. He must be grossly incompetent. But on top of that, even if you have got all of that, you've got to get the National Assembly to vote, to have 2/3 of their members voting in favor of removing a judge before you can remove a judge from office. I mention all of these to say, when my answer to those who ask the question, is the judiciary of South Africa sufficiently strong and independent to withstand the challenges that we can see are coming in the future? When my answer is yes, it is based on the protections that the Constitution gives. It is based on the track record of the judiciary and it is based on the fact that the judiciary of South Africa is made up of judges who have integrity. I think that when one has regard to all of that, we must be hopeful that this judiciary will in the future play the kind of role that it has played in the past to defend our constitutional democracy, to uphold the Constitution, and to uphold the rule of law. I have no doubt that certainly during my term of office, this judiciary will remain like that. But I have no doubt, too, that those who will come after me will follow in the same track. This judiciary knows that this constitutional democracy needs to be protected, and it must lead the way in protecting it. Thank you.